Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this live Q&A right here on the AEW official YouTube page and AEW Facebook page, Facebook Live Jones, as we call it back in the day. What's up? I am Taz. I appreciate all you guys jumping on here to ask some questions and talk some AEW, All Elite Wrestling, and talk about whatever you want to talk about, Dynamite or whatever, or maybe some stuff with wrestling in my past or future or podcasting or radio, whatever, So we'll do our best to get you what we got. So let's get with the first question right here from Emmanuel D. Suarez. My question would be for him, meaning Taz, me. That's me. Hello, him. During your days, Taz, as an active wrestler, who would you have want to wrestle during this current era of wrestling? Well, I've answered this question a couple times in the recent past. One guy that jumps out to me in AEW, I will tell you, is Kenny Omega, and I know Kenny is, his moniker. He's known as the best bout machine, and I've been called the human suplex machine a few times. I do think that all of his experience as a world-class athlete and a world-class professional wrestler and his success in Japan and that Japanese strong style that he does so well, his athleticism. I do think if I was in my prime while he was in his prime, we'd probably have a pretty kick-ass match. He's one guy that I wanted to mention right now off of your question because I've mentioned him in the recent past. As far as some of the other athletes, the other men on the roster, I would say when I was a babyface, I think because I was kind of an aggressive kick-ass babyface, I would have loved to been in a program with MJF. I do think his style as a wrestler, because he's tremendous athlete in the ring, underrated in the ring, excellent bump taker, and that type of heel, a chicken shit type heel, worked great for the killer babyface. So during my time in ECW, I wrestled many times the franchise Shane Douglas, and Shane had a similar style in the ring. That style of tremendous promo guy like MJF, but yet once he was getting bounced around by the good guy, by the babyface, he was great at bumping and selling and begging off and all that. But once he got his heat, he was kick-ass. And that's MJF. So I do think my style would have fit perfect with an MJF. Those two guys jump out to me right away. I would say as far as, AEW wrestlers. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, what's the next one? Here we go. All right, Shock Monkey Mike. Hey, Taz, question is, what was the transition like from competing to commentary? I'm an aspiring commentator and look up to you as my idol. Well, Sock Monkey Mike, your name is over like Rover. It's great. It was tough, to be honest. When I went from competing as an in-ring competitor, it was hard to make the transition to announcing. And this is why. And obviously, this was when I was in WWE. So as a wrestler and transition to commentary, when you're a wrestler, okay, I don't care at what level, independent wrestler or at the highest level, like here in AEW, doesn't matter. Okay, you're about you. You have to have an ego. You don't have to be an asshole, but you have to have an ego in the sense that you believe in you. And it's all about you and your brand and your promotion. That's what helped me. And I think a lot of guys and girls that were successful in the past up until now will tell you the same thing. You have to be self-centered. You don't have to act like a jerk, but you do. And I've done that in the past too when I was younger, but that's another story. But you do have to have that kind of, it's all about me, 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 me. That transition when I went to the announce booth, that was tough, that it's not about me anymore. It's about the athletes in the ring because they're the ones paying the bills. Now, it sounds like a very simplistic thing. Well, okay, it's just not about you anymore. Now you just got to put over these guys in the ring. It's not that easy. Because when you are programmed for years, it's you, me, me. I got to get over it. I got to do this. I. And then you're a broadcaster. And the way I was taught in that system, which I believe in that system, to be honest, I was taught it's not about you anymore. And I was told by my boss at that time, the big boss, you take your ego and you leave it behind the curtain and you go to the desk and it's not about you anymore. And that was great advice. And that helped me. And it took a while. So that was the toughest transition. All right, fire away. Wow, Mike, awesome. Okay, God rest his soul. Where does Fernum Schnabitz sit in all of this AEW stuff during the coronavirus crisis? Can I get a shout out for my 15th wedding anniversary? Thanks. Yes, you happy anniversary, happy 15th wedding anniversary. I'm on the cusp also with my beautiful, lovely wife of an anniversary. I'm not going to share the amount of years, but it's more than those years. But Schnabel's Fern and Burnham during this virus, I don't know where it fits in. All right, what else we got next? Charlie Zrike. I might have messed your name up. Charlie Zrike. What was your most memorable match? Oh, man. Good gosh. I've been blessed to have a lot of matches that, for me, were memorable. I'll just hit you with a few. I'd love to give you one, but maybe I should really try hard to give one. I would think my most memorable match for me was the first ever ECW pay-per-view called Barely Legal, and Sabu and I wrestled each other, and which was called the grudge match of the century in Philadelphia. So that was an extremely special time for us in the company at that time in ECW, and for myself and for Sabu. You know, we getting a chance to do live TV, which a lot of us weren't used to at that time. And we're doing a live pay-per-view, and we're like one of the main events. It was a big deal, and it was a big build-up for like a year. And we knew going into the match, no matter what we do, you know, it's not going to live up to the hype, but we got to kick ass and kick each other's ass and bust ass. And we did. Another memorable match for me was winning the first time I became ECW World Champion against Shane Douglas in Kissimmee, Florida. That was the name of the pay-per-view escapes me. I think there's someone who can help me with that on a private kayfabe Jones. Yes, I'm trying to, I don't know if I don't remember the name of the pay-per-view. It was Kissimmee, Florida. That much I know. And it was against Shane, and I became champ there, and it was like a big deal for me at that time. Guilty as charged. Boom. See, there you go. That was the pay-per-view. Thank you, the person who helped me. So, anyway. And the third match I'll give you for me that was super memorable was when I debuted against Kurt Angle, and when I debuted at Madison Square Garden for WWE. That was as a New York guy, my hometown, and being in the Garden against the great Kurt Angle, and Olympic gold medalist. He was undefeated at that time. That was a huge moment for me. So those three matches jump out to me. What else we got? Take three. There we go. Thank you. Sorry. Far Fallen 2. This is from Twitter. What is next for Dustin Rhodes? He fought bravely against Murderhawk. That's Lance Archer, by the way, for those that don't know, but was bloodied and badly beaten. Can he overcome that mental hurdle, or will his confidence, I guess you mean, will his confidence be shattered? Listen, as far as that confidence end of it for Dustin Rhodes, no. In my professional opinion, and knowing Dustin as long as I know Dustin, it's not going to affect his confidence one bit. He was contemplating retirement during this TNT Championship tournament right before his match with Kip Sabian, and he was victorious, so he didn't retire. But so I could see why maybe some fans are thinking about his confidence. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think his confidence will be shooken. What's next for Dustin? I'm not quite sure. But he's a tremendous competitor, and he's a legend. He's I don't know, 30-year vet, 32, 33 years. I know I'm in the wrestling business like 30 years, I think it is, or something. And Dustin and I broke in like right around the same time. And, he's still going. I mean, I'm telling you, I work closely with him behind the scenes at AEW on different things with some of the younger wrestlers. And I consider Dustin a friend for a long time. I've wrestled Dustin. He is in the best shape I've seen him. His body, his injuries, he's healed up for the most part from what I could tell. His lean muscle mass is great. and his mind is very clear. He's living a strong, healthy lifestyle, positive guy, great motivator for the young athletes in the AEW, the guys and girls, our athletes really connect to him. And he's got a great connectivity with them. So I'm a big fan of Dustin as a pro wrestler, as an AEW star, and as the person, so I want nothing but the best for him, and I hope he keeps on wrestling, just keeps on going, because he's been kicking ass. All right, what else we got? Chico Man, hi Taz. My question is, which match inspired you to become a wrestler? Chico Man, to be really honest, not one match. Weird situation for me. I was not like as a kid, I was a wrestling fan. I enjoyed watching wrestling late at night on Saturday nights and stuff like that. But I was not like, you hear so many wrestlers that were diehard, diehard wrestling fans that loved wrestling and they lived for it their whole life. That wasn't me. I was a fan when I was younger, and I broke away from it, and I got involved with mainstream sports in school, and I kind of fell out of love with it. And then, when I got a little bit older, and then I was watching a little bit more on TV, and to be honest, I needed a job, and so I ended up, my dad knew a guy who knew a guy, one of those stories, who knew a guy in Brooklyn who was training guys who was a legitimate pro, and that guy was the unpredictable Johnny Rods. And that's before Johnny had the school that he had for so many years that was so big with so many students at Gleason's gym in Brooklyn. When I broke in with Johnny, it was not in Gleason's gym. It was in Brooklyn, but in some little rat shit building that, we were there for like 2-3 weeks in some really bad old boxing ring. It sucked learning how to fall on that. And then after like 3 weeks, we moved to another little rat shit place in Brooklyn. Like, we kept moving around. I don't know what was going on, but we kept bouncing around. Like, hey, guys, I don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow, but there was no emailing. There was no texting back then. So I'll call you and let you know what address to go to. All right. And then he ended up landing in Gleason's. But so the school early on was not a lot of guys. And I was one of those guys early on, very early on. This is before a lot of the people that that trained under Johnny. Like, this was way before like Tommy Dreamer or Devon Dudley. Way before Bill DeMott, way before that. The guys who broke in with me there was a guy named Damian Demento, who that's who he wrestled under with some fame. But before that, when he first broke in, his name was Mondo Clean. Great look, big dude, great promo, but kind of a little bit of a douche. Okay. And then who else was there the first day? Big Dick Dudley, God rest his soul, if you remember him, Alex Rizzo. So we were the guys. All right. So I guess I got to ask the next question because it just popped up. Not one more inch. This person says, which of the young talent in AEW excites you the most? Mine is Darby Allin. That kid has it. All right. Not one more inch. First of all, I, like you, I'm a big fan of Darby's work, his character, his persona, that deep, dark thing that he's got going on that works. He's a hell of a skateboard guy. He's he just throws caution to the wind, to use that cliche in the ring. He just takes chances, and he has no fear. It doesn't stop for him. He just keeps going forward, no matter if he wins, loses, or whatever. Just now getting knocked out of the TNT Championship tournament and not advancing to the finals and not being victorious. Last night we saw on Dynamite against Cody. That match could have went either way. I hate to say it like that, but he counted that coffin drop that when Cody, the American Nightmare, did the coffin drop. I was shocked. I'm like, yo, what the hell's Cody up to? And then you see Darby counter it, and then Darby goes for it, boom, and then he ends up getting turned a little bit to his back while Cody was drilled. The whole thing just worked out in Cody's favor. And the match really could have went either way, but I'm a big fan of Darby, not to be long-winded. I can't give you one. MJF, huge fan of, as far as the young guys, huge fan of his promo work, his in-ring work. Wardlow, love him. Jungle Boy, love him. Scorpio Sky, not one of the 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds, but Scorpio Sky, I feel sky's the limit for him, pun intended. There's just there's Sammy G. Sammy Guevara is tremendous. We have so many really, great young athletes in the company. That's just on the male side. Chris Statlander, I'm a gigantic fan of hers. Sheeta, love Sheeta. Okay. So you could go on and on. I just think we're going to get bigger and better as far as talent. So yeah, I can't give you one young athlete that I like the most, but there's a few. Come on, bring it on. What else we got? Question, please. Moderator, where are you? There you go. All Elite Jesse. At Sholo Insane. Okay. Hashtag. My dad was a black belt in judo. What judo throw, excuse me, would you say works/translates best into wrestling? Water break. Those old Taz show fans know. The water break gimmick. I don't have the music, unfortunately. Which judo throw would translate best in wrestling? I use the throw a lot called the Ippon Sayanagi, which, for those that don't know much about the sport of judo, or are not familiar with that throw, which is probably most of you, an Ippon Sayanagi, it's a full 5-point throw. So visualize like someone doing an arm drag, but instead of arm dragging someone from their bicep, they arm drag them, throw their shoulder under their opponent's armpit, pop their hips into them back to belly, and throw them straight over their head. I used to do that throw a lot. I think that translates really well, a Sayanagi throw in pro wrestling. You've also seen a lot of guys, you'll see like a Russian leg sweep or a version of that. That's kind of like a modified throw called an Osotogari. That translates well. Any kind of joint lock or submission that you see, those all translate well. All right, what else we got? N2C. What happened to like the Joes and the Bobs? What else we got? It says here, why do you hate your mailman? That's what N2C says. Why do I hate my? I don't hate my mailman, but I remember this. I know why you're saying this, because on the podcast there was an outrage about the mailman. It's okay. I avoid him. He avoids me. And there'll be nobody getting their asses kicked. I guess we're good. All right, what else we got? Here we go. Question. Come on. There we go. What do we got? Jack Brandt. Would you ever take a bump again in AEW? Well, as much as I love AEW and everybody in it, from our great owner, Tony Khan, and our great EVPs and the great talent, and you, the great fans, there's a great chance that I would not be taking any bumps ever again. That I could tell you. You always got to leave that little opening, but I doubt it. I don't. I think my bump taking days are over. So the industry for me is for the young guys and girls, the young generation, to apply their craft, and the guys that are my age that are still kicking ass and haven't stopped. See, that's the big difference. Guys like Chris Jericho, La Champion, guys like Dustin Rhodes, a guy like a Billy Gunn. These guys still rock and roll in the ring, so they're still in ring shape, even though we're all around the same age. They're still going. I haven't wrestled in a long time, so things change when you're not in the ring as much. There's a certain kind of a grizzle that your body builds up when you take bumps a lot, and it's tough to explain that. It's like a kind of a coarseness to your body. No matter how much muscle mass you have or don't have, you just have that grizzle. And when you stop wrestling for a good amount of time, you lose that. And it's not like something that you could see. It's just something that I feel is under your skin texture. I know it sounds really weird and deep, but I'm telling you, but I really believe in that. And I know that grizzleness for me is gone because I haven't bumped in a long time. So I doubt it strongly you'll ever see it again. So what else we got here? We got King Sosa. What matters more, in-ring technical work or having a character / personality and mic skills? King Sosa, that's the $1 million question. What matters more? At the end of the day, you need both. Immensely need both. That's how you make money and become a champion. You got to be able to talk, and you got to be able to go in that ring and be technically sound. I really think that hybrid of those two things is vital. But if I had to pick one, I would say it's more important to be more technically sound in the ring. Because at the end of the day, and to use that another cliche, the marquee says wrestling. Well, that's true. So you got to be able to wrestle, So you got to be able to be technically sound. You can't just talk the talk. You got to be able to step up and work and wrestle in that ring. What else we got? We got Doc Sins 96. Take two. Doc Sins 965. Wow. Too many chair shots. Thoughts on the Bubbly Bunch? Hey, I'm like everybody else. I'm a huge mark for the Bubbly Bunch. How could you not be? This friggin' thing's great. Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle. The last one we saw, the Manitoba Manscaped Jones, whatever it was called, the Melee or whatever Chris called it, was great. It's great with all these different actors and comedians and athletes in there. I popped when I saw Jericho's dad in there, cross-checking the camera. I thought that was great. The whole thing was great. The one that I liked the most was Peter Avalon, the bump he took early on in that whole Melee thing, and Lou Ferrigno. He didn't take a bump, but he had like a stun gun or something. I love it. I think it's great. When I first laid eyes on it a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite, I'm like, this Bubbly Bunch gimmick is phenomenal. So yes, I love it. All right, what else we got? Tanya Brooker. I love Rio. What do you think of her? Well, she's the first ever women's AEW champion. So you could only be the first once. So that's a huge accomplishment for that young athlete, for that young lady from Japan. That's a huge thing. I'm a fan of her work. I'm a fan of her exuberance in the ring, her energy in the ring, her excitement in the ring. She knows how to light up a crowd for a young lady who's not even 100 pounds. She's smaller, frail built, but she's proven that she's tough. She can take a lot of punishment and keep on ticking. We've seen her battle, Nyla Rose, who's a lot bigger than her and stuff like that, and more powerful than her. And she's still just so resilient and tough, and was able to become, she's no longer the AEW Women's Champion, but she was able to do that. It's a huge feat for her. So hopefully we see a lot more from her here in AEW. But no, I'm a fan of Rio. She's excellent and really, really nice young lady. James Francis Tuburo Jr. How's Britt Baker? Well, first of all, it's Dr. Britt Baker. She's a friggin' dentist, if you haven't heard. How's she? I don't know. I mean, I guess you're asking, what is she like as a person? Britt's basically, well, Dr. Baker, before I get heat with her, she wants to pull one of my teeth out. She is basically what you see on TV. That's kind of Dr. Britt Baker. I like her, but she's, what I told you earlier in this Q&A, that you got to be self-centered and have an ego and be all about you. Well, Britt checks that box. So, and that's important. And that's why she's successful. And I think the chemistry with her and my best friend in the whole world, Tony Schiavone, okay, I really believe Tony and her, the chemistry with Tony and Dr. Baker is tremendous. I would never call Tony Snaggletooth. I don't know if that was gimmicked on TV. I've never looked closely at Tony's teeth. When I see Tony at the TV shoots next week, I will go closely and look at Tony's teeth, and I'll make sure Dr. Baker's not around because I don't want to look at my teeth. Maybe there's something wrong with my teeth. I don't know. I don't want that problem. No, Britt Baker is she is showing you what she can do with her character and how you could take someone who's so intelligent as her and to have the dedication and discipline to do all that schooling and become a dentist while she's training and becomes a professional wrestler to the level she is. To have two careers like that is insane. It's super impressive. And I got to be honest, all kidding aside, I don't think there's enough people that praise that enough. I'm talking about mainstream media. Like, she's a legitimate dentist and a pro level at an elite level, pun intended, here in AEW. I mean, why are more people not talking about the mainstream media? Scratches my head. Ryan Blades. Hey, Taz. Hope you're keeping safe and well. Love. Take two. Hey, Taz. Hope you're keeping safe and well. Love your commentary. Well, I appreciate you loving my commentary, Ryan. I hope you're staying safe. I am safe. My family and I are very good. We're all good. Even though we're here in New York, where I know a lot of people think, oh my God, it's New York. We're good. I mean, and all extended family and everything in the tri-state area, they're all good, thank God. So you always got to be, it's a new world for everybody, no matter where you live, no matter what state you live in, no matter what country you live in. So everything's changing. So it's just we just got to just be smart and protect each other and do the right thing. All right, what else we got? Tennessee Tim, do you think Adam Page will be a future champion? Well, Adam Page is currently a champion. He's one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions with Kenny Omega. But I get your drift. Do I think he will be, I guess you mean the AEW World Heavyweight Champion? He has the ability. I know that. He has the persona. I know that. So I do think, and he's young enough, and he's got a good amount of big match experience for a guy who's young. So I think the answer is yes. I do think Adam Page, there's a great chance we see him as the AEW World Champion one day for sure. What else we got? James White. Hello, Taz. How are you, sir? I'm fine, James. Hello. What do you think of Mox going to face at Double or Nothing? I'm sorry. Who, I should say. He had too many question marks that threw me off. Who do you think Mox going to face at Double or Nothing pay-per-view for the AEW belt? It's a championship, damn it. Come on, pal. Mox. Well, we've seen Mox, be dominant in the short time he's been champion, and when you take a Jake Hager and you're able to get a win off him, I don't care if there was a steel chair involved or not. Mox is legit. Mox is a tough son of a bitch. He's a pro. Talk about big match experience. I'm a fan of him. At Double or Nothing, it'll be interesting to see how it evolves. We know he's going to be on Dynamite. We know he's going to be I think he's facing Kazarian, I believe. Yes, he is Kazarian. So we know we're going to see that. So, and Kazarian's no pushover. So that should be interesting. So we're going to get to see Mox with that AEW title, on Dynamite this coming week. So that's a big deal. I'm not sure. I can't give you an answer who I think is in the face right now. I'm not in that loop, but he's going to be defending that title, at Double or Nothing. So we shall see. What else we got? Brendan. Hey, Taz. Brendan here from Fall River, Mass. Oh, I think he used to call my show. I remember Fall River Jones. I remember this guy. Hope you remember me. See that from your podcast. See, I should have read ahead. When I would ask you questions, Jones, yes. What's your favorite memory from the state of Massachusetts? You and the family stay safe, man. Well, my family and I, we've gone to Massachusetts a lot, to Cape Cod over the years on vacation. We like going there at times, sometimes during the summers, not every summer. So that's my first memory of Massachusetts is the Cape. My wrestling memories, wrestling probably for ECW at Greyhound Gimmick Jones Park there, in Revere, Massachusetts. Really low ceiling in that building. It wasn't even the building. It was just like, I don't know, it was part of the track where like they gamble and they just put a ring up there and we just wrestle there. So I liked working there. It was kind of a crazy pit-like atmosphere. And so I think a wrestling side of Massachusetts, I think of that. What else we got? Mike S. Who do you think will win the TNT final between Cody and Lance Archer? Well, I've been saying it on the post show with JR and Excalibur after Dynamite. We've been doing these post shows. I said it from the beginning. I felt like Cody was going to win this whole thing. I didn't know it would be Archer that he's going to face now in the final, but I'm sticking with Cody. I feel like Cody is he almost has to win, because he's done. He has no when I say done, he has no opportunity ever to go for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. It just can't happen. That was taken away from him by Jericho, and obviously, with MJF and all that stuff back in the not too long ago. But so I do think Cody, he is going to go, and knowing him personally, and I know him a long time, kind of when he first started even, then he's a real focused athlete. And you could bet your bottom dollar he is going to be insanely prepared, for Big Archer, for the Murder Hawk Monster, in the finals, to crown the first ever TNT champion. It's a big deal to Archer, and it's a big deal to Cody. I'm still leaning with Cody. That's no diss on Archer. I'm a fan of Archer. Okay, I just did a TBT on him on a Technique by Taz. So I'm a big mark for the Murder Hawk Monster, but I think this is Cody's time for this championship. Aaron Rules, would you ever wrestle Excalibur? Yes, I would. I'd rip his mask off or hook him into transmission or choke his ass out. No, I would not wrestle Excalibur. I told you earlier, I'm not wrestling. But if I had to wrestle someone, it'd probably be him or Shivani. The VP Blade. Yo, Taz, who would the modern day human suplex machine be? Oh, come on now. Come on. The modern day human suplex machine. You believe this question, the modern day human suplex machine? Come on. What's going on? Talking to my guy over there. I don't know. I mean, look, we saw Jeff Cobb come in and he faced Mox and was not successful in that. Jericho brought him in, and I think Mox could be a guy. Cobb could be a guy looked at as that. To be honest, right now in AEW, I don't know. I don't see anyone doing a huge amount of crazy suplexes. I don't know. I don't have that answer. I don't know. Right now, I'd say the closest one for me would be maybe Cobb. Again, he's not part of AEW. You asked me, so I would probably say him. What else we got? We got a couple more and we're going to wrap up. You are Levelsome. Okay, greetings, Taz. Greeting, you are Levelsome. Thank you for doing this show. Who gets AEW Gold first? Brody Lee, that's Mr. Brody Lee, by the way. Lance Archer, Wardlow, or Luchasaurus? I'm going to go with Mr. Brody Lee on that one. I would say either him or it's a good question, by the way. That's a very good question. I would say him. I would say Mr. Brody Lee or Lance Archer. Either one of them, but I'd probably lean towards Brody. All right, let's do one more. Mr. Geek Me Out. What's the strangest fan experience? That's a tough one. Because I have not over the years done like a lot of appearances, and stuff like that. Like I don't do a lot of signings. And when the ones that I've done, I've always tried to be as personal as possible and give people their money's worth and all that stuff. So there was nothing crazy. I mean, I've been asked by so many fans, put me in the Taz mission, and I don't do it ever. So I'm not putting anyone in the Taz mission unless I have to defend myself. But as far as like a unique, weird fan experience, I mean, maybe like during those years, there was one time in Jibthorpe, Pennsylvania, when this is a unique, crazy experience. I won't tell you the whole story, but while I was walking down the aisle to go to the ring to face a guy in the ring, this fan decided to lean across and pull my black towel off my head and run. And I caught him. So that was a unique experience. I chased him. Long story, which I won't tell the rest, but I will say this. I appreciate all you guys jumping on here for this live Q&A. I appreciate AEW giving me this platform. And now I have one more question from Scott from New York. What's your order from Defantes? No. Well, I guess a chicken palm hero, light on the sauce, penny alla vodka, light on the sauce, and I'd have to get a hero for my son, which would probably be a chicken cutlet palm on garlic bread. Light on the sauce, right? Yeah, light on the sauce. He's favoring me. We're done, right? Are we done here? I mean, I was told to sign off, then I got other questions. What's going on? I think we're done. I'll sign off a second time. Thank you, everybody who logged on here to engage in this Q&A with me. Thank you, AEW, for the platform. Thank you, everybody in this world. I love everybody in this world. You people are the best people in the world. Tony Schiavone is the greatest person to ever live. I love him. Everyone's great. JR's great. He's the best ever. Excalibur's the man. He's great. Everyone. Judge Jeff Jones. He's a stud. Everybody's awesome. I love all of you. I love everybody. I'm done. Take care.